All right, everyone, here we are with ticker symbol IDEX, Ideanomics Inc. And before we jump into this chart, I want to say welcome to all my first-time viewers and investors. Welcome to my channel, Invest for Tomorrow. To all my subscribers, welcome back, and let's jump into this chart. So, Ideanomics Inc. has actually had a run today, and I want to go ahead and let every investor be aware that this bullish run is possible to continue as long as the bulls continue breaking through resistance and stay above the 50-day moving average. But the fact that the previous bullish runs were slightly not that big, they were about, I'd say, maybe 20 to 40 cent jumps, and then the highest jump was probably almost 50-cent jump, and then it would come back down and level off. Today it has jumped over $1.50. So that's almost 2 to 3 times what it was jumping before. So I want every single investor to be aware that we need to pay close attention to how this stock continues to react. There could be some profit taking in the near term. I don't know if it'll be this week because it's a short week, right? This is a short week. Or it could be coming up next week. Now, I'm going to go ahead and move this to its new locations. As I stated, if it broke through this resistance of 159, it was going to start to work its way up and pull away from the 50-day moving average, and certainly needed to break through that highest point. And once it did that, as you can see it slightly right there, it's not too far away from where it actually leveled off right next to the next candlestick. And from that point forward, it took off and it started to reach newer highs. It leveled off, it took off, and now here it is reaching newer highs. Previously, I was looking at the chart throughout the day, and this was a very important point to break through 288. And it has broken through it. Now, could the bull sit above it? We're going to watch here as the post-market hours turn out and play out. So I want to go ahead and advise everybody to watch that closely. But we are certainly now at $2.93. So this could be on its way to the $3 mark if the bulls continue to rally and push. But I do want every single investor to pay very close attention to these numbers as the days play out, because this week it can continue the run or it can have a slight pullback from uncertainty, right, of the long weekend coming up, and also the fact that a lot of people want to take profits. So I want every single investor to not let greed kick in. We're seeing these numbers rise, and you want it to go even higher. So pay very close attention to the behavior of the stock tomorrow. Now, let's go ahead and move our resistance to its new location. And it's the highest point reached in this candlestick. I mean, in the next 30-minute time frame, it could either level off or it could actually boost itself to a newer high. So if it reaches a newer high, whatever those new highs continue to be, those are going to be the most important resistance levels for the stock in tomorrow's beginning of the day. Now, I want to break this down into a few points here. And we're going to talk about our resistance and support. And then I'm going to talk about one of the lowest points reached in this sideways movement after actually leveling off and continuing the run. So let's look at our 50-day moving average. Our 50-day moving average is 184. I want every single investor to write that down. That is the most important number right now to keep in mind, because it lets us know on what side of the chart we're in. When we're in bullish territory, we're above it. And when we're in bearish territory, we're below it. Now, the fact that this is actually continuing to run, because it was leveling off and the bears were trying to reappear and the bulls reappeared, and it's fighting to stay up. We have 2 support levels before getting to the 50-day moving average to pay close attention to the behavior of the stock while still being in bullish territory. So the lowest point here was 222. And that's one of the lowest points of this candlestick as it was continuing to try to push itself up. And it's 222. I'd write that down. If this gets broken through, you have that window of 222 and obviously 184 to see how the stock is behaving before it continues to get closer to the 50-day moving average and hit newer lows, and see how it's reacting, if it's going to go up, if it's going to go down. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is our support here. And this support level is one of the lowest points as this leveled off before it continued to run, and that's 242. Now you have another breakdown here to watch between 242 and 222 to see how the stock's reacting. How quickly is it moving to newer lows, or are the bulls trying to reappear and bring this back up? So 242 is the beginning of the support levels of this breakdown to go ahead and pay close attention to how the stock is reacting. You're going to want to watch how quickly is it hitting newer lows, how quickly is it pulling away from the resistance and from that support in a downward direction and closer to the 50-day moving average, because then that means that the bears are getting closer to their goal. The closer they get to the 50-day moving average, the closer they are to crossing it and ending up in bearish territory, which could then mean we're going to hit newer lows and newer support levels. But it all starts here at 242. So you're going to want to watch it closely. Now between 242 and 184, it's a very broad stretch. So I'm breaking it down in between with the 222 mark to see how it's reacting, because even if it breaks through 242, 222, it still hasn't broken through the 50-day moving average, and you're still in bullish territory. So the bulls can appear in any of these sections to bring it back up. But as soon as it breaks through 242, I emphasize, pay very close attention to the behavior of the stock and how quickly is it moving to newer lows. Between your 1 minute, your 5 minute, and your 15-minute chart, you can look at all the other chart frames as well to see what's going on, but look at it real closely. Now, I want to emphasize this, and this is probably the most important point right now in this chart, and it's 295. The bulls need to break through this. Now, if they don't break through it, I don't think that the 50-day moving average will catch up that quickly unless this is actually breaking through support and working its way down, and they're both going to intersect, right? Because if this was to work its way down and this was to work its way up slowly, they'll intersect and cross, and then it'll end up in bearish territory. But if this was to hang out in this channel here and it's just kind of hanging out sideways, the 50-day moving average will catch up, but I think it'll take a little bit longer than 1 day. It'll take 2 days to catch up to the price, and then the bulls still have another chance to pull away from it. But the closer that the 50-day moving average gets to where the price is at, the easier it is for the bears to gain leverage. Now, the further it is, like where it's at right now, it gives a chance for the bulls to go ahead and continue to pull through. Now, how do they continue to pull through and maintain this momentum and maintain control and staying in bullish territory and hitting newer highs? Well, they need to break through this resistance. This is the highest point reached in this recent run, as we can see, and that's 295. I mean, it's broken through all the previous resistance levels. It even broke through the 248 mark that I mentioned, and then the next one was 282. We're slightly above it, and now the next one's up here at the 326 to 325 mark, give or take. So I advise everybody to write that down to see if it breaks through 295 and where this is going and how close does it get to those numbers. But right now, the most important resistance level to break through to continue this momentum and see where this is going is 295. They need to break through that. The bulls need to turn that into a support, pull away from it, reach newer highs and new resistance levels. Now, I hope that with these cues you guys are well equipped for tomorrow. I again emphasize, pay close attention because today's run was pretty big and there could be a slight pullback because of profit uncertainty of the long weekend. So don't let greed stop you from taking your profits and your gains. And also, if it continues to run this week, I mean, it could be in due time to actually have a slight pullback due to the fact of either the long weekend or how the long weekend starts the next week. So I believe that this has potential to reach the $3 mark if it breaks through this resistance. I just don't know how far up it can go. It could possibly continue to run like it did today. Today was a phenomenal run, but I do want every single investor to be aware of these support levels and this resistance level. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you found this video helpful and informative and you feel encouraged to subscribe, please do so. Don't forget to click on the bell to turn on all notifications and not miss a single video that I post. Share this with your friends and community, and don't forget to hit the like button to let me know you watch this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.